Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to First Cut. This is our Thor ranking list. We are coming out of Thor Love and Thunder. The internet has been set ablaze with the discussion about this movie. Everyone has got hot takes on this film. What's cool is that we all saw it at different times. I know RB3, you were at the screening of it. I saw it opening night. And I know, Wikum, you just recently saw this movie as well, right?
Yeah, I saw it a week after it came out, and I got a unique perspective because of that. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I got to start with you, man, just because I know everyone else's takes on it, but let's get your take on it, man. What did you think of Thor Love and Thunder?
Okay, so usually I go to Marvel movies opening night. I had to do some prior things this time, so I didn't get to see it opening night. So I went into it the next weekend hearing all the hate and the love simultaneously. So I wanted to go into it, ignoring all that. I want to see my opinion, and I want to, not have other people's opinions affect mine. And I loved it. Honestly, I laughed a lot. And yes, I agree. Sometimes the jokes went a little too far, but overall, I had a great time. And I think it's one of the best Thor movies out there.
Yeah, RB3, I don't know if you were on Twitter during this, but I got into some heat just because I said, hey, I don't know what it is about Thor. This got people so mad. And then people in my mentions got mad because that's how it goes when it comes to Marvel movies. But I was just confused by what it was about this movie that got people in their feelings, man. People were hurt. I saw people on TikTok being like, I was offended. I was hurt. I was like, damn, bro, you cried over Thor? What, did you see any of this?
I mean, I didn't see people crying over it on TikTok. I definitely saw people respond to your tweet about being upset. But it's funny when you tweet about people being upset, it seems to upset more people. So yeah, it's kind of like it's like the cycle continues.
I was yo, why are people mad? And then all of a sudden it's like, yo, shut up, man. And I'm like, oh, okay, you mad?
Right. Right. I mean, I think there's some reasons people are mad, right? I think this is the first time we saw a good portrayal of Jane Foster. And they actually ended up, spoiler alert, we're going to get spoiler territory for all the Thor movies here. They kill her off at the end, right? Yeah. So that was a little bit disappointing for some people. And I also think, some people don't like the new direction of the Marvel Cinematic Universe getting pushed in an overly comedic direction. That's something that, we've talked about in the past. That's actually one of the criticisms I had of Thor Ragnarok when it first came out, because you gotta remember when Thor Ragnarok first came out, it was also around the same time as Spider-Man Homecoming, and 2017 was also Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2.
That's right.
So we had 3 straight up Marvel comedies back to back to back. And that was a hard adjustment for me. I didn't really like the first the Thor Ragnarok movie that much because of it. Ultimately, I ended up growing towards it. And this one is following a comedic movie with Spider-Man, and we get a horror movie with Doctor Strange. So it's a little bit of in between, but I definitely think it could have. I liked it. I enjoyed it. If you see me and Sabrina's non-spoiler review, we both enjoyed it, but I definitely think it could have been a little bit stronger in terms of consistency.
But what is your Thor ranking? I'll start with you, RB3, when it comes to the Thor movies.
Thor ranking. So this one's pretty. It was a little tougher for me. I gotta go. My number one is. What order do we want to go in?
Yeah, start with number 1.
1 to 4. All right,
number 1.
All right. Number 1 definitely gotta be Thor Ragnarok. I mean, I really appreciate that film. I ended up growing to really love that film over some time. I definitely didn't, like I said in the beginning, I didn't love the movie when it first came out. I remember, Andreas, you came into the show one day and you were like, yo, it's like a 10 out of 10. This is a perfect movie. I was like, no, bro. The Godfather's a 10 out of 10. It's not a 10 out of 5. It's not a 10 out of 10. What are you talking about? I had to really argue. He was like, all right, you did drop it.
I dropped it to 8 or 9.
Yeah. He dropped it to 9. I was like, yo, come on. It can't be a 10. There's no way. So I didn't end up appreciating it, but that's my number 1. Number 2 is actually shaking it up a little bit. I got to go with the first Thor movie, man. Kenneth Branagh. I'm throwing it up to my guy, man. And And I didn't, you know, I have like an up and down relationship with this movie, but you know, when I first came out, I really, really dug it. In recent times, I haven't really dug it as much. But Wikum, you actually kind of, we were talking about in the office one day, and you kind of like put me on to more reasons why I should appreciate it. Number 3, Love and Thunder. I liked it, didn't love it. I think it could do some things a lot better. And of course, last one is Thor: The Dark World. So.
Wikum, your Thor rankings.
All right, so I'm going to have to go with Ragnarok number 1. And funny enough, I had a really similar experience with RB3, where at first I watched it, all my other friends loved it. I hated it. I thought it was too funny. I thought they made a Hulk a joke, blah, 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 blah. But over time, I grew to appreciate it. And I loved the visual style, the comedy, and yeah, it's my number 1. And for number 2, I would have to say Love and Thunder. It's a pretty high one for me. You know what I mean? Wow. I the visuals, the tone, the Thor's character development. And it was just a blast. You know, I was like laughing in the theater. You know, I don't remember the last time I like saw a movie like that where I was dying laughing, and you know, and it was just a great time. And number 3, I would have to say Thor 1. And I don't think that's a low ranking. I just think the other 2 are so good. I think Thor 1 is a solid movie to establish this like kind of odd comic book character that hadn't been adapted in movies, you know, like correctly or like really, you know, before. And he's kind of like, Iron Man's really grounded, but Thor's really out there. And I think the first one does a really good job of like grounding the character and humanizing him. And I also really like his arc of going from this arrogant prince entitled to a humble, you know, warrior. And then number 4, I mean, I think a lot of people saw this coming, is Thor: The Dark World. It's infamously known as one of the least, you know, liked Thor movies. I don't hate it. I rewatched it recently. I did hate it at first. I rewatched it recently, and it's a decent story about Thor and Loki's relationship and the death of their mother. Then I don't even remember the Dark Elves, though. Like, that was, you know, but if I focus on Thor and Loki's relationship and their development, it's pretty good. So, yeah, that's my rankings.
Yeah, I think we all have similar rankings. Ragnarok is obviously going to be my number 1. RB3, you know that. This was like one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. I think I have it in my top 3 Marvel movies when it comes to the MCU. So Ragnarok is easily in my top, you know, Marvel movies. So it's definitely my favorite Thor movie. Number 2 is harder. I'm with you guys on Thor 1. I love Thor 1. And I'm really like, it was a struggle debating whether to put Love and Thunder or Thor 1 in my 2 spot. So I'm kind of in between you guys when it comes to that, because I really enjoyed Love and Thunder, but I definitely agree, it had a ton of flaws, and it still feels like it's not quite a complete film. And I feel like Thor 1 is more of a complete film, but doesn't have as much heart or as much levity and enjoyment as a Love and Thunder has. And you're not as connected to like a Jane Foster as you are in Love and Thunder. And you're more connected to characters like Valkyrie and Korg than you are to maybe Kat Dennings' character. So I just by a smidge, and I really mean that, I'll probably put Love and Thunder ahead of Thor 1. But it's super close. And I could go either way, because I think Thor 1 might be maybe a better film, but I feel like Love and Thunder is a more enjoyable film, if that makes sense. So I'll probably put Love and Thunder 2, 3, Thor 1, and then way at the bottom is Dark World. I've rewatched it as well, and I don't think it's very good. It's definitely not the worst Marvel movie, but it's definitely like bottom 5 for me. It just doesn't hold up. And I know a lot of people try to defend it and say it's great. I disagree. I don't think it's great at all. I don't think it's top tier Marvel at all. I think it's bottom tier Marvel by far. So
you know what? Can I change my ranking though? Okay. Since I don't want to have the exact same ranking.
You didn't. You had Thor 2. You had Thor 1 as number 2.
Yeah, so did you.
No, I didn't. I had Love and Thunder as number 2.
All right, but you and Wikum had the exact same rating.
Yeah, we did.
I'm gonna change. I'm gonna switch it up. Number one, Ragnarok. Number 2, Thor 1. Number 3, Thor: The Dark World. Number 4,
What?
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Why?
Oh,
It's just
Why are you
because-
hating now?
Keep the conversation interesting. Okay.
You
but
want to be like those
here-
TikTok guys, bro?
that's wild.
Just
Yeah.
trying to rub shoulders with them, bro.
Yeah.
I'm shook.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm not
shook
trying to
that
rub
you-
shoulders with anybody. Nah.
I'm shook that you put Love and Thunder under Dark World. Oh, that's big.
Well,
No,
so
man, Dark World's a bad, like objectively, like not a good movie. I wouldn't say a
So-
bad movie, but like not a good movie.
But here's the thing. Like, I think when it comes to, like, I hate when A-list actors are just wasting their time in movies. I feel like that's exactly what Christian Bale was doing.
Well, that's what I
And,
meant about the cut. Like, I definitely feel like that's part of the cut.
But it's just like, I feel like it's not just an A-list actor. We're talking about A-list director. We're talking about Academy Award-winning director with Taika Waititi here.
Yeah.
It's just, and then we got the return of Jane Foster, which is an amazing storyline that, popped off recently in the comics, and they just completely like watched it and buried it. That could have been something we could have seen as like a through line. Like, we could have had Natalie Portman and Mad Movies going for it.
But to be fair, I feel like that's part of her contract. I feel like that's all Natalie. She pulled a Harrison Ford on that. Like, I think she said, I want to be dead by the end of the movie.
I think she's coming back.
Yeah, but
I
it's
think
like,
the Valhalla was like,
Oh, no way.
The Valhalla was like a simple, like, yeah, she died, but she's in Valhalla. Like, she can come back. And like, I feel like they're leaving it open ended because they don't want to sign 10-year contracts anymore, et cetera, et cetera. But like, I don't think she's dead and never coming back, especially like, if the rumors about the Secret Wars, is true. Like, I think all bets are off. Like, you don't know who's coming back, and to be honest, I think she is.
That's fair. Yeah, the only thing for me for Love and Thunder that I haven't mentioned as well is Valkyrie. To me, was like, I thought she was so cool, and I wanted to see so much more of her. And to me, that's been one of the most underutilized characters in that movie. I was like, man, when I was talking to a couple of my friends about it after I came and watched it, I told them, I was like, man, they had Valkyrie like right there, and all she did was like pass the ball. Like, she never like, she had like maybe 5 speaking lines. Like, I was like, damn, that's a real shame, because I felt like they definitely undercut her character when she has one of the best backstories and she has so much more to her character that we can see explored on film. I hope we see more of her, because to me, I was like, damn, Tessa Thompson has like 5 lines. That's it.
Well, can I defend like Thor: The Dark World a little bit more, because I do think as imperfect as that movie is, like, it is for one, it's visually beautiful, and for two, like, at least all the through lines at least somewhat like make sense, like no characters just like randomly leave the story halfway through. Like, I felt like in this movie Valkyrie kind of did, or like Lady Sif, like, gets her arm cut off, and then we literally don't see her for the rest of the movie. It was like a walk-on cameo to a certain extent. At least with Thor: The Dark World, we got the introduction of the ether, which eventually became the Power Stone, if I'm not mistaken. We got like
Reality Stone. Isn't it?
It was the Reality Stone. Yeah. We got we got Kat Dennings a little bit in Love and Thunder, but even though her character, some people say she's annoying, like, at least like she has somewhat of a through line. Like, it just felt like this movie, the new Love and Thunder, was just so like a little bit more disposable, I felt like, than a lot of other Marvel movies, especially when it's a sequel that's 4 movies deep. Like, when you're 4 movies deep, the consequences just start to feel consequential, not just kind of like a slapstick joke,
I think that's my next question to you guys is, where does Thor go from here? Where do we see this character go? Should we see even more of this character? Should this be the last chapter of this character?
I don't think so. I think that Thor should... I think it's great that Chris Hemsworth loves the character, because, like, we're adapting comic books, so like some of these story arcs go for like 10 years, you know what I mean? But it's different in real life because the actors don't want to play them for 10 years. They don't, they want to play other roles, you know what I mean? And that's totally understandable. But I think the fact that Chris Hemsworth wants to do this many, and also Tom Holland's doing another trilogy, like I appreciate it so much, because now we have the opportunity to tell those possibly 10-year long stories, or to tell more than just like 3 2-hour movies long of a story, But the question is, can Taika Waititi lead the charge and like take the character in a good direction with like a good arc. And what you guys were mentioning before about like, you know, the movie feeling a little disjointed and Tessa Thompson not getting as much love as she should, and characters get kind of like literally in the, like you were talking about you know, his one, I forgot her name, getting her arm cut off, you know, like they literally didn't name some of the characters that died throughout the Thor trilogy. Like he was like, and this guy died, and this guy died. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like Taika Waititi was literally like laughing at our faces, like, yeah, I don't even care. You know what I mean? And I think that he's gone a little. It was too much Taika. Like Ragnarok, he didn't write it, but he improvised the script, right? But this, he wrote it and directed it, and he's like, you know, like an award winner, and Ragnarok did well. So it's just like hyper Taika Waititi. It's like a lot of him. So I feel like he should tone it down a little bit. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of the core of all these issues coming up with the film.
Yeah, what do you think, RB3? Where does story go from here?
Yeah, I would like to see a little bit more. I would like to see. I do agree that, you know, this movie did like get overly Taika in that way. I would like to see him get one more shot at this franchise as trilogy, like, close out a trilogy kind of situation.
Yeah, maybe a God situation with Hercules at the end. Gods on gods violence.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm all here. I know I'm just recapping what I saw in Film Theory, and most of y'all probably saw Film Theory. But the idea of Hercules being the first Marvel and Disney live action crossover, that could be fire. Because did you hear that they're making a Disney live action Hercules movie? Did you hear about this?
Wait,
they're making a Disney live action Hercules movie.
It's the same universe?
Don't make it the same.
Well, no, they're not. No. They're not making it the same universe, but the Russo brothers are producing. The Russo brothers are producing the new.
But it's a musical
Hercules movie. But maybe they use the guy from Ted Lasso.
Just don't.
Why
make
not,
it MCU.
Man?
I don't want it in the MCU.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm great. That's dope, but I don't want it in the continuity of MCU. I'm sorry.
That'd be fire.
I'm not sure about that. I kind of want to see my movie musicals not involve that. But I definitely I wouldn't mind. You're right. Give Taika one more chance. Maybe if he by one more chance, like what are we even saying? Like the movie made a ton of money. Like plenty of people liked it. Like people keep saying like, oh, this movie. I'm like, this movie made bang.
Like we're the executives. Like we got the decision making.
That's true, but you never know, because like I liked Ultron, and Ultron like did decent at the box office, but Marvel internally considered it a failure. Like that's why they like shifted from.
I feel like that's different
Joss
though.
Whedon to,
yeah, but Joss at that point too was like catching some heat, and even he was talking crap on set. Like I remember that those articles coming out when he was saying like, I don't want to do this anymore and this sucks.
Really?
But I do feel like Taika's I do feel like Taika's in that stage though where he does kind of feel over it in a way. So maybe you might be right that maybe Taika passes the baton on to someone else. We see a different person take on this character. We do see a God storyline, because the potential of that God scene was kind of cool. I don't like that they did undercut some moments with the comedy. I was on board with all the comedy in the entire movie except for that one scene. I was like, bro, just like can we just not have a comedic moment? Like, can we have like a serious moment?
You're interrupting my orgy.
Yeah, like I just felt like yeah, and then when he got naked, and then when you saw his tattoos, and it was like kind of played for laughs, and I was like, that's kind of sad. Like, bro, he's got his name, like his brother's name in the back.
RP Loki.
Yeah, like Tony. He's got Natasha. He's got a bunch of other names in the back, and I was like, bro, this is like a moment, bro. And he's like, that's why we see him naked, because I don't know. I didn't like that. I was like, come on, let the man mourn his brother, bro. But we've seen him mourn his brother like 4 times already. So yeah, but I'm saying like in the moment, like it when you see a person shirtless, like I don't know, in other movies, and you see scars and shit or tattoos and stuff, you usually see that as a moment of like, oh shit, like this is what they're feeling. You don't see that as like, like, look at this guy. He lost his brother. He lost his. Like, it felt too like laughing at him instead of like realizing what he was trying to honor. I don't know. Anyways, my thing was like the gods on gods kind of action would be kind of cool. I think that'd be sweet. So maybe we could see Thor in that sense, but by that point, it's like way down the line, in my opinion. I think that's like not even down the pipeline. I think they're thinking about mutants. I think they're thinking about like, you know, like Secret Wars. They're thinking about Marvels, all that kind of stuff. So who knows? But either way, those were our thoughts on Thor, Love and Thunder, the Thor movies in general, and the Thor character in general, and Phase 4. Let us know in the comments down below, what did you think of Thor, Love and Thunder? What is your favorite Thor movie? What do you think Thor should go in the future? And what do you think of Phase 4 so far? Let us know in the comments down below. You could follow me at Squad Leader Ace, RB3. Where can everyone follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Director RB3.
Wikum, where can everyone follow you, man?
You guys can follow me on Instagram at WIKVM.
Go ahead and do that, guys. And also make sure and follow us at First Cut TMO. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. But either way, for the First Cut crew, we're going to peace out. Peace.
Peace.
Deuces.